And it's the Eid Mubarak celebration to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Good afternoon to you. You're welcome to Newsbeat here on Metro TV with me, Ania Fompofo. We're coming to you live from the Ikea Boahima studio at North Ridge. Also follow us on social media. We're live on Facebook is Metro TV Ghana, on Instagram and Twitter is Metro TV GH. Let's take a look at the headlines of the stories coming up. Muslims in Ghana celebrate Eid al-Fitr with the said Eid out prayers at the Independence Square. We bring you live updates from the venue. Former President John Dramani Mahama criticizes President Dankwa Akufo-Addo for what he terms his lack of tolerance in accepting dissenting opinions. We will be speaking to a governance expert on this development as well. Peasant farmers warn of continuous food price increment. If you visit the markets, you will see the reality of what they're talking about. We'll bring you details of that. And also in the news from outside our borders, fighters battle blaze after missile hits Odessa in Ukraine. You're welcome back. Now, the National Chief Imam has held this year's National Eid Muslim prayer at the Independence Square Day, and then the first since virtual prayers were held from 2021 due to the COVID-19. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was a guest of honor. Here are excerpts from the ceremony.
At full capacity for services without nose mask. Other aspects of social and economic life in the country, including our land borders, which had been closed for 2 years, are back to normal. My brothers and sisters, this exciting development is another special grace from Allah, which we have to be very thankful for as a nation. When COVID-19 hit us, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo committed the nation into the hands of God by asking for special prayers from our faith-based leaders as the government took a series of decisive steps to manage the pandemic and save lives of citizens. Today, by the grace of Allah, Ghana's COVID-19 situation is remarkably one of the lowest in the world, and our entire management of the pandemic has been globally acclaimed as one of the best. The effects of the pandemic, which ravaged global economies, did not spare us. Businesses the plight of Ghanaians. In effect, the pandemic severely drew the economy back from the progress the government had achieved between 2017 and 2019. This setback, without doubt, made life more difficult for citizens and government, as prices of goods soared across the world due to the abnormal increase of the cost of international freight. As if that was not enough, another setback in the form of the sudden global effects of the Russia-Ukraine war hit us at the beginning of this year, when our economy showed signs of bouncing back from the shackles of COVID-19. In spite of the unexpected destructive global factors which have severely hit our economy in the past 2 years, our government has not reneged on its development commitment to the people of Ghana in the areas of education, healthcare.
Well, the celebration at the Independence Square ended a while ago, and that was Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who was delivering a speech at the ceremony. And let's do some more stories. And Principal Imam of the Ghana Police Mosque Superintendent Hussein Abdul Rahim Hussein has admonished Muslims to learn the habit of forgiving others who offend them. Whilst quoting aspects of the Holy Quran to buttress a sermon after the Eid prayers, he called on Muslims to also extend the hand of support to the destitute in the line of their traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Will you not like that? Will you not like that Allah should forgive? And Allah is forgiving and merciful. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the deduction is this: we must be ready. If we are ready to receive the mercy of Allah, then we must be ready to forgive. People have wronged you. People have done a whole lot of things against you. But pinpoint to the fact that whatever you are doing is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you give, the support you give, the direction you give, the necessary support, whatever, you reach out and the person stabbing you at the back, tell yourself, I'm doing it for the sake of Allah. I'm ready to forgive. When you forgive, Allah will forgive you. May Allah forgive us all. Allahu Akbar. Allah.
Now, Ramadan is a period for Muslims to offer sincere prayers and communicate with Almighty Allah. During the period, practicing Muslims are required to abstain from worldly pleasures for the entire period and climax the festivities with an Eid prayer. Abdallah Muhammad in the following report details the highlights of this spiritual month and why it's considered the best period to earn the pleasures of the Almighty Allah.
Islam has witnessed a dramatic rise in many parts of Ghana, especially in the northern region, where months such as the holy month of Ramadan affords Muslims the opportunity to meet, interact, fast, pray, and reflect on the teachings and practices of the Holy Prophet Muhammad.
Ramadan, the holy month of bliss and spiritual fortification. Ramadan is the holy month on the Islamic calendar which requires believing Muslims to fast from dawn till dusk for a whole month. The spiritual exercise involves abstinence from drinking, eating, sex, and other worldly pleasures in exchange for divine favors through sincere acts of prayer, recitation of the Holy Quran, and other forms of worship.
لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل أولئك هم الغافلون ولله الأسماء الحسنى فادعوه بها وذروا الذين يلحدون في أسمائه سيجزون ما كانوا يعملون وممن خلقنا أمة يهدون بالحق وبه يعدلون والذين كذبوا بآياتنا سنستدرجهم من حيث لا يعلمون.
Muslims also believe that the Holy Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan to serve as a guide to mankind. During the holy month, Muslims would wake up early to eat a pre-dawn meal called suhoor, and they break their fast with a meal referred to as iftar.
رمضان يا رمضان يا نفحة الرحمن رمضان يا رمضان شهر جود وغفران كل عام يأتي زائر ليته دوما يطول دائما يحمي البشائر كلنا يرجو القبول
نفرقو دي شمو قولي موبانجي تبارك وتعالى دي علي تشيمو يكما بامو شوغبان الدين مو shine annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya kuma wajabta muna da yin azumi wato rukunonin islama biyar ne shine shahadatu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna muhammadar rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa iqamis salat wa ita'iz zakat wa sawmin ramadan wa hajj baitul liman istata ilayhi sabila wato ubangiji tabaraka wa ta'ala ya wajabta mana yin azumi tun gabanin da can tun ba kakanninmu ana azumi kuma shi muka samu shugaban addininmu annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ubangiji ya ɗora mai cewa al'umman shi mu yi azumi watan ramadana 30 yauman au kana 29 yauman kwana 30 ko 31 babu amma tare da cewa an ga wata akan lissafi to muna sauraren shugabanninmu Dr. Aisha Usman Nu Sharutu shi muke saurare zuwa karfe 9:30 zuwa 10:11 in an ce an ga wata wajibi ne a kanmu kowane ɗayanmu mai lafiya ya ɗauki azumi wanda bai da lafiya kan ciwo na gaskiya tsakani da Allah ba ciwon azumi ya kai ban iya yi ba Allah ya sauƙa muna in kana ciwo ba ka iya kai ka ciyar amma in kana lafiya kamar yadda nake tsayen ga nake da lafiya ina da ƙoshin lafiya Allah bai kashe ni ba bai kashe iyaye ba ya rayar da ni muna tare da shugabanmu kakanmu shugaban addininmu Dr. Ashe Usman Nu Sharubutu muna karkashin jagorancin shi muna sauraron abin da zai ce muna in an ga wata she mu tashi da azumi a shirye muke yanzu aka ce an ga wata a shirye muke mu tashi da azumi domin mun ci abinci wata 11 wata ɗayan ga lafiya za mu samu mu yi addu'a ma ƙasanmu na Ghana mu yi makakanninmu da iyayenmu da yara Allah ya shiryar da su baki ɗaya.
Is one of Ghana's most densely populated Muslim Zongo communities. Today is the 10th day of the holy month of Ramadan, and we are here to find out what ordinary residents and traders here think about the holy month of Ramadan.
Wayansu sun yi niyya inda sun samu wanga wata ya iske su da su ma sun yi azumi, amma yau an tashi ba su nan. To muna roƙon Allah ji kansu, Allah ya ramushe su, Allah ya musu tukuci da aljanna. Sa'an nan abin da ke da karfi cikin wanga wata ne mai girma, wata ne kuma da aka sauko da Kur'ani, aka sauko ma annabi Kur'ani. Wanga wata mai shine watan Ramadan, shi muke cikin ga. Watan yafewa na cikin, gafara na cikin, sannan 'yantawa na cikin. Muna cikin farkon 10 na cikin wanga watan azumi, shine 10 na farko, muna cikin yau kwana 9 shine muke aka zo ana tambayan game da shanin wanga wata. To almuhim muna gode ma Allah da Allah ya kawo mu wanga wata lafiya, Allah maimaita muna albarkan da ke cikin wanga wata, Allah sa musulmi duka yi katari da shi.
Masu shaye-shaye da waɗanda ba su jin magana albarkacin wanga watan ga Allah ya shirya muna da su. Kuma muna roƙon ku yan Metro TV kowane lokaci ku shigo kuna muna interview hakan muna jin daɗi. Kowa ya san kamar azumi yana so ibada ne. Ka yi kokari da istighfari, kina roƙon Allah ba fada ba zage-zage, kar ka sa kayan da bai kamata ba, kuma mani ya ce a kiyaye gulma bai da kyau cikin azumin watan Ramadan kowa ya kiyaye alishinsu. Abin da za ka fadi ka samu lada ka dinga fadin wannan, wanda za ka fadi ya zama maka laifi Allah ya kiyaye mu duka baki daya, inda za mu duba kuma ya bata muna azumi kar Allah ya sa mu duba wuri.
Muna kira ga musulmi dukkan mu baki daya, samaruna da dattawa da waɗanda suke matasa, mu tashi mu zage damce mu raya dare da bautar ubangiji na filfili na salloli, karatun alkur'ani, zikirori, askaru gashi nan daban-daban da ake bautawa Allah da shi, da yawan sadakoki da kyautata ma 'yan uwa da ziyara da kuma kiyaye wa sabon Allah. Domin mai azumi akwai hadisi na manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallama da yake cewa rubba sa'iman laysa lahu min siyamihi illa al-ju'a wa rubba qa'iman laysa lahu min qiyamihi illa as-sahara. Wato bi ma'ana rubba sa'iman, da yawa mai azumi laysa lahu min siyamihi, wani abu na lada bai zamo daga azuminsa ba illa al-ju'a, face yin wabban za da ya wuni da ita. Sai sahabbai suka ce ma ya Rasulullah ya aka yi haka? Sai ce to duk wanda ya kasance yana tare da azumin watan Ramadana bai bar ƙarya ba, bai bar ayyuka irin na ƙarya ba, falaisa lillahi hajatan fi an yada adamihi wa sharabihi. Wato wanda duk bai bar aiki irin na ƙarya da ayyuka irin na ƙarya ba, Allah ba ya da bukatar bashi wani abu na lada daga cikin barin abincinsa da ya da rana bai ci ba da abin shansa.
Wanga watan tashi dare na nafilfili ne, watan koyon karatun alkurani ne, watan ibada ne, watan yafewa ma juna ne, watan tausaya ma kuma ma juna ne. Shi yasa ina rokan yan waye na musulmai, ubangiji Allah ya ba mu falalan da ke ciki, Allah biya bukatunmu ciki, ya hana idanunmu bacin dare, ya sa mu tashi mu yi ibada yadda ya kamaci mu yi.
Ramadan serves as a religious catalyst for individuals to redefine their behaviors and improve their relationships with Almighty Allah and those with whom they interact most closely, including their family members. Traditionally, Ramadan begins with the sighting of the crescent moon, which generally appears one night after the new moon, meaning the start date cannot be precisely predicted.
A special report on Eid by Abdallah Muhammad will bring you the rest of the report subsequently. But let's do some more stories. And the Race for Aid charity organization has provided some food products and toiletries for the onward distribution to inmates of the Nsawam prisons as part of the 2022 Eid festivities.
The act of fasting calls for Muslims to practice self-discipline and sacrifice, as well as reflect upon and show compassion for the poor and less fortunate. Muslims are reminded to be generous and increase their charitable activities. The items donated to the Nsawam prison by charity organization Race for Aid is aimed at making a meaningful impact in the lives of the inmates of the facility. The essential items included bags of rice, gallons of oil, washing power, and other toiletries. It forms part of the annual support to the facility to enable inmates live dignified livelihoods even behind bars. Executive Director of the Race for Aid Charity Foundation, Sheikh Muhammad Mutawakil Abubakar, assured his outfit through the benevolence of donor.
Well, you're still watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV. Let's go for a breather. When we come back, we still have some more stories. Former President John Dramani Mahama has made some comments about the economy. We'll get into that. Welcome back to Newsbeat here on Metro TV. Now let's do some other stories. And former President John Dramani Mahama has assured Ghanaians that if voted into power in 2025, a new NDC government will repeal the E-Levy Act. According to him, the E-Levy is only a distortionary and a burdensome task that only forces Ghanaians to pay more while suffering.
The collection of the e-levy began yesterday. And like a slap in the face, it began on May Day, when we are supposed to be celebrating workers, we are celebrating a new tax imposed on them. And already there's a litany of complaints about the implementation. I've heard complaints of transfers of under 100 cedis being subject to tax contrary to the law. And I've heard others say that they sent 1,000 cedis and paid no additional tax. Clearly, the Ghana Revenue Authority and those responsible for this tax were not ready for its implementation. Government's desperation to tax Ghanaians to get this nation out of the hellhole it has dumped us will not succeed because government's own budget proposals show that the e-levy will not make any significant contribution in resolving our problems, but will exert an adverse toll on the people of Ghana. We in the NDC do not oppose taxation as a principle. We will not be pretentious and couch fanciful slogans to condemn the principle of taxation like the MPP did in the past. We are, however, implacably opposed to distortionary and burdensome taxes like the e-levy that only force Ghanaians to endure more suffering. A new National Democratic Congress government, God willing, and with the votes of the sovereign people of Ghana in 2025, will repeal the e-levy act. Even as this government remains fixated with taxing their way out of economic mismanagement, the Akufo-Addo government has been wasteful. They failed to demonstrate prudence in public financial management. The people of Ghana cannot be called upon to pay more taxes only for their accruing money belonging to the people to be dubiously and wastefully shared amongst family and friends through various fraudulent procurement practices. The creature comforts of the president and his officials cannot be more paramount than the need to protect the public purse and make savings that can be invested in more useful ventures such as...
More on that development, former President John Dramani Mahama has also criticized President Akufo-Addo for his lack of tolerance in accepting dissenting opinions. According to him, no government in Ghana's history has demonstrated a lack of democratic temperament in dealing with issues of dissent and public criticisms than one headed by the President Akufo-Addo.
The NPP government came into office in January 2017 on the back of mouth-watering promises of almost instant transformation of our country. Amid countless slogans, President Akufo-Addo did promise to transform Ghana in 18 months, if voted for. Yes, he promised to turn around the fortunes of Ghana and create opportunities for all, and he charged all of us to be citizens and not spectators. A significant number of our citizens associated the promises with good and noble intentions. In return, and despite our best efforts, the Ghanaian people offered the NPP a clear mandate in 2017 to steer the affairs of our dear country. An assessment of our current conditions showed that what is happening now bears very little or no resemblance to what was promised. There's a sharp disparity between promise and practice. Today, most Ghanaians feel they were hoodwinked, and this is manifesting in their personal livelihoods and their daily struggles. Perhaps the most defining challenge of our time is making our economy work for everybody. Over the last several months, our political space and societal reaction has been dominated by discussions on the challenges with introducing even more taxes. These conversations have taken place against the backdrop of unparalleled cronyism, nepotism, and breaches of the basic tenets of conflict of interest, transparency and accountable governance, and misplaced spending by the president and his inner circle. To
Now let's explore these comments, and I have now been joined in the studio by governance expert and social commentator Nii Amartey to tell us more about the comments made by His Excellency yesterday. You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. And happy Eid. So did you get a chance to sit through the address?
Well, not totally, but I have the
overview.
Yeah, overview.
Okay, give us what you make of his presentation generally.
Generally, I thought it was a good presentation because it calls the government's attention to a few things that should be resolved in the system. But I also think the former president should have handled it in a more, in a nice way, devoid of insults and all things. You know, when citizens begin to disrespect our leaders, it is because our leaders themselves call one another thieves and other bad language used on themselves. And that's why I thought that though the speech was good, it was laced with too many vituperative messages, and I thought that should have been cut out.
Was it? At what point did he call, or did he...
well, in the speech, you could hear things like dementia, creating wealth for cronyism, and family and friends. And I mean, these things are not the best of. You can still present your message without resorting to these words. And I thought President Mahama, a diplomat and a very good speech maker, was, veering to stuff he wouldn't normally be associated with. Yeah.
But it's not part of politics. Sometimes, there are certain words, and in fact, at some point of his delivery, I thought that some of these shades he threw were not in the speech. Some were just as trying to interpret.
Yeah, but I'm watching him, and I know former President Mahama is a good speech maker. He's a diplomat. He knows how to handle things. He knows how to make words appealing to, his listeners. So when I heard the first one, second, third, and I thought he made mention of these things, at various junctures of the. Yeah, and I thought that was not him. I mean, quite often he had demonstrated emotionalism in many of. I mean, when he called Martin Amidu stupid and all that. But I mean, those belong to the past. I think he should begin to be himself, the way we know him to be. He's a good speech maker, and he should always remain as such. Yeah, but that's just the advice I have for him. But I mean, repealing of the e-levy, I think that should not be the way to go.
I thought, well, we are. I don't know if we should see that as a political message or a campaign message.
If he succeeds in doing that, he will still bring in another tax to fill that gap. I mean, Nana Addo in opposition was seen to be calling some taxes nuisance taxes, came in and got them all out of the system. But now what's the replacement? So I think President Mahama should be talking about a reduction in the percentage point, okay? From 175 at least being brought to 1.50. But I'm looking for it to 0.50 or 1% as the minority leader said and backtracked, okay? Yeah, but it should not be a total repeal. I think that should not be the way to go. Again, he referred to something which for me was true in this particular instance of the passage of the e-levy. Before then, the selected members who were made to push across the message of the e-levy, some of them did not carry themselves well at all. They were very arrogant in their posture, and they were pushing for Ghanaians to see we have power. We will pass it whether you like it or not. And that's not the way to go. Make it appealing. Look, people didn't like it, but like bitter pills, it's more often encapsulated. I mean, the capsules we swallow, the content is quite bitter. But what we do is to have it encapsulated so that when you drink, I mean, the lubrication just throws it in and then it works. You don't look into my face and tell me things that I don't want to hear, in addition to what you're trying to implement. And that's not the right way to go. I thought their posturing, I got far too overbearing. And that,
but I think he spent quite some time on e-levy explaining, why he thinks that you cannot throw in more taxes on us, just even by the way you live in a profligacy way as a government. And so if he wants to repeal it by removing it totally and even replacing it with another tax, maybe the behavior or the pusher of that government, should he come into power, will not be looking as we see and as we're describing today.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, what have we benefited from what Nana Addo did? Taking away nuisance taxes, as he referred to them, and bringing in a replacement. What did we go or did we come, as the Ghanaian will say? In Mohammed's time, we taxed condom. Condom. And such other, it will come up. I only pray that they will listen to us and reduce the percentage. Yeah.
It has, e-levy has its own issues, which we've talked about, even double taxation, where should people be sending salaries through e-levy?
The salary has already been taxed.
Yes.
So if I'm going to send something small to my grandmother in the village, and you tax that one too. Yeah, but you see, there has to be a means of roping everybody who is in some kind of business to throw in their might in order to help with the development. And that, for me, is the essence of the e-levy.
How about former president, also calling on the government to be more tolerant, because they seem to have taken an extreme position where anybody that tries criticizing the government is victimized.
That's a perfect advice. And as to whether the government will take it is another thing. He offered and proffered quite a few such series of advice.
So how do we get government take some of these criticisms?
I think Mama should have told us how. Because
he gave some recommendations in the end of the delivery. But like you said, he has spoken. Mm-hmm. Whether or not the government is going to take it is another thing. And I'm asking, how do we make governments, existing governments, take advice from citizens?
Let the sycophants stop. But again, I'm throwing it back to the same politician, because now that they are in opposition, they agree with us, the neutral minds.
Right.
I speak, and they are with me in studios like Metro and the radio stations, and they support me. Oh, this is a very good thing to say. But when positions change and they jump onto the power seats, they begin to act differently. What he's saying is the right thing. But, did it happen in his time? How tolerant has he been, Mahama? Did he call Martin Amidu stupid? So these are the things. They should display it. And in addition to that, I just said that the whole speech was laced with vituperative messages. And I thought that should also have been cut out. Mm-hmm. Politicians should lead the way. They are most often in the driver's seat, and we expect them to drive us safely to our destination of perfect economic expectations. But if they do not act in that way, how then do they expect? Look, in campaign messages, you have situations where they level grievous, allegations at themselves. And you wonder where this is coming from. Sami Jemfi, for instance. Have you listened to some of the things he says? And I think this should stop. So yes, Nana Addo should, and the administration should be more tolerant. Open up and let people say what they think they should say. And that's the way the accounts refer to democracy. Can be Mamin can be. It is not can be Mamin chill or can be Mamin treat you badly. It's not the best. So again, it's a good call. There's also this other call of he asking for the head of the finance minister. That cannot hold. You don't advise the government to sack his finance minister. In his time, Tekpe, pressure was put on Mahama to sack Tekpe. And he came out to tell us in public that yes, pressure is being mounted on him to sack Tekpe. Did he? No.
And but that doesn't mean that he cannot advise his colleague in government.
That's what I'm saying.
If he advises a colleague in government and the president comes out to say, I'm not going to sack him, that's okay. It means that you have heard the message, but this is your feedback. It doesn't stop the opposition from calling out.
It's always good, but the messages of the opposition, especially to government, would always be couched in very distasteful manner, and it does not impinge appealingly on the eardrums of the ruling government. And that's why we're saying that put it right. Yes, I'm saying that it is not about a change of personalities. It is about doing the right thing at the roots. Look, Ghanaians have been calling for a national manifesto for how long now? If that thing comes to being, it doesn't matter who is ruling. In the animal farm, it was a pig, Old Major, who was made to rule. And Old Major had the right persons around him. So that it doesn't matter. When Rawlings came to rule, and I'm not calling Rawlings a pig, no, God forbid. When Rawlings came to rule, he didn't have any expertise in governance. But he brought around him the Kwesi Bochwe's, etc., who could then help him, PVO Benz, to steer affairs. And that's why I'm saying that if we have a national manifesto and not a partisan manifestos of political parties, we will, and the Ghanaian citizenry will be the police, to police them.
But the former president, if you recall, during his time, or I should say during the NDC time, made an attempt to bring to bear a national, what's it called, plan, policy. Yeah. You know, to guide. When this government came in, that was a 40-year plan. When this government came in, this government said a 40-year plan was too long and they were cutting it to 10-year. And even the 10-year, we still don't have it. So if you're calling for that, is it not the current administration you should be blaming?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, that succeeding governments have heard all these calls. He tried bringing that into being. What happened at the end of the day? When we called for the Constitutional Review Commission and it was set up, we wasted money, went throughout the country and brought up the file that these and these and these are the things Ghanaians are demanding of the 92 Constitution. What happened? It's now resting on a shelf gathering dust. Is that the way to go? And so I'm not surprised they tried to bring about a plan, 40-year plan, and it's gathering dust somewhere. We should be, and you see the citizens will sit back. Media men don't put pressure. And we all sit back and allow the ruling governments to do what they like. If we begin to call for it, that look, Mama did this, can we continue with that? And begin to push and push. I'm sure we'll get somewhere. But we all relax and we have all these things thrown at us, promises upon promises in partisan manifestos, and nothing is really done. And it is true. He is calling our attention to the fact that things aren't going well. Talk of inflation. Talk of the depreciation of the cedi. I changed some dollars in November, 630. By March or February, thereabout, it's 830.
Right.
And then they injected an artificial amount of 2-point-something billion. If businessmen rush to buy out that injection, we come to nothing.
Right.
So we should be careful.
I thank you for your time. The governance and expert and social commentator Nii Amartey spending some time with us to deliberate on former president's statements yesterday. Let's do some more stories. A renowned chartered accountant and auditor Kwadwo Mpiani Brentio is worried about the nation's decline in moral values. He said the moral decay is undermining Ghana's democracy and therefore called for a reorientation of the young people to the right to right the wrongs. He made these observations during a lecture at the Faculty of Accounting and Finance in collaboration with UPSA Global Alumni Association.
The renowned chartered accountant and auditor Kwadwo Mpiani Brentio said unethical behaviors are now widespread, and this has contributed to a breakdown of law and order in the Ghanaian society.
We need to be ethically aware, and we have to start from our youth. We have to encourage our youth that ethics matters and it's important. And to be ethical, one have to make sure that you do what is right and what is wrong should be frowned upon. And we should not let our politics blindfold us, such that once somebody is in your party, whenever they even do wrong, we are not able to say. Somebody can be in your party, but what is wrong yesterday will be wrong today and will be wrong tomorrow. We should live ethically because the power of ethics lives in all of us.
He believes education must be intensified to reduce such unethical behaviors.
When you go to look at the Companies Act, we did not have anything on conflict of interest. When you look at the Act 179, we did not have too much on conflict of interest. But in the Act 992, they've introduced that. When you look at companies now, every company is required to have what we call an interest register, so that if there is any contract that any director is interested, you have to disclose that. But apart from that, we don't have anything. We are saying that Ghana should be ethically aware. When you go to some of the advanced economies that things are working right, it's because people are ethically aware. In Ghana, we are not ethically aware. We are doing the wrong thing without knowing. When we are writing exam, we want to cheat. When we are home, father and mother are telling lies, we are supporting the children to do the wrong thing. When you say daddy is supporting or mommy is supporting them, Ghana will have to be ethically aware.
The Faculty of Accounting and Finance Alumni Spotlight Series was in collaboration with UPSA Global Alumni Association.
You're also watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV with me, Ania Fompofu. Let's go for another breather. I'll be back. All right, you're welcome back. You're watching Newsbeat. It's time for us to take business stories. And with the launch of the Destination Ghana by President Akufo-Addo, Deputy Minister of Tourism Mark Okweku-Manteh says this has disclosed that the initiative is targeting some $2.3 billion injection into the tourism sector. He was speaking on the sidelines of the 5th Ghana Business Leaders Excellence Awards in Accra.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in April launched Destination Ghana in the United Kingdom, a campaign aimed at attracting tourists from the United Kingdom, Europe and the rest of the world to Ghana annually following a successful year of return campaign 3 years ago. The campaign is under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, the Ghana High Commission UK and the Ghana Tourism Authority, aimed at building on the success of Ghana's Year of Return campaign, which attracted many people from the diaspora to Ghana. Speaking about the launch, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okweku-Manteh, expressed optimism in the Destination Ghana campaign.
Last year was better than 2019 because in the last year it was erratic. Occasionally came across to us like as if COVID was gone, and then it comes up. But this year we can assure you that now that President Akufo-Addo is saying that it is not mandatory to wear mask, I think it's not just Ghana. It's become flexible a bit. We can assure you that with Destination Ghana launched, we are expecting a bigger boom by end of year.
He added that government is targeting some $2.3 billion economy boost.
We are eyeing, our target is about $2.3 billion. And so I do not know these things are going to come up, but I think I do not have the numbers that the amount is going to correlate. But the target is open $2.3 billion thereabout. Yeah. With this target, it means that we need to work extra hard. And that is why President Akufo-Addo has launched Destination Ghana. The agenda is that we promoted Year of Return in the Caribbean and the USA. We did not do UK and then Europe and the peripherals. And so President Akufo-Addo decided that, okay, let's go launch this fall, so that when we have the Americans and the diasporans from South America or the Caribbean coming, now we can increase the numbers with the European markets as well. And that is why President went to launch Destination Ghana, all to be able to meet our targets.
Let's now do some sports. And in sports, a multi-purpose artificial AstroTurf pitch has been commissioned at the Spintex, on the Spintex Road with the aim of promoting healthier lifestyles known as Spintex Astro, a facility that has been constructed for both sporting and social functions.
Located within Spintex, a suburb of the nation's capital, the latest multi-purpose Astro pitch known as Spintex Astro was built to serve resident and corporate firms for their various social functions. The artificial pitch facility, which is well fenced with electrical protection system, also has changing rooms, offices, therapy session, and some spacious sitting areas for patrons and expected spectators. Constructed by Birch Ghana Limited, the facility manager led by Jeffrey Crow can also host a 7-a-side football match, which is also aimed at promoting healthier lifestyle.
We believe that when the mind and the body works in unison, then the individual is poised to face any challenges in the world. So that's essentially one way to give back to the community, facelift the community, and also to ensure that people are having options in life as far as career choices are concerned. And I encourage actually various communities to also embrace this concept, because we are training the body and the mind to give ourselves options in life. So yeah, anybody can do this. I live in this community, and so for me it was a way of giving back to the community, essentially. I would say that.
Speaking at the commission of the new facility, various speakers commended the owners for their vision and the idea to support the community through the facility. The Nwamanche, Professor King Odaifio, who later did the official first kick on the page, urged the facility managers to ensure a good maintenance culture.
I would like to end by stating one thing that is always core to my heart whenever I honor invitations to outdoor or open new edifices in any form or shape. It has to do with maintenance, and I repeat, maintenance. Our maintenance culture as a people is very poor, and we all know this is a fact. I therefore urge management to put in place the strictest of controls to safeguard assets, protect and improve the buildings and structures, and also tidy up the environment at all times.
Former Greater Accra Regional Minister Nilai Afute Agbo later spoke to Metro Sports on the Sprinters Astro effigy.
I think this facility is a very good one. I think it has even pushed me to organize a similar thing in my community, because I thought we can only do it on a bigger park, but on a normal size of park. But with what I've come to witness today, I think we can do it at so many locations within our communities, so that the youth, by way of exercising themselves, we can also get some talented people amongst them.
Well, that's all we have for you on the Eid Mubarak Day here at Metro TV. Happy Eid. Enjoy the holiday. See you at work tomorrow. This has been Newsbeat.